Welcome to The Explainer. All right, we're going to dive into a really powerful way to think about taking control of your life. It's all built around some incredible advice from Steve Harvey, and it boils down to one simple question. Who's in charge? Your feelings or your decisions? Let's get right into it.
So, let me just ask you this, right out of the gate. How often do you put something off just because you don't feel like it? Come on, we've all been there. You know exactly what you need to do, but that spark, that feeling of motivation, is just not there. This one question, it gets right to the heart of what keeps so many of us completely stuck.
And this, right here, this is the whole ballgame. It's the simple, but honestly profound difference between people who get things done and people who just dream about it. See, a winner acknowledges the feeling. They feel tired, uninspired, but they choose the action anyway. A wisher, they let that feeling make the decision for them. And we all know that tomorrow can so easily become never. So this brings us to our first big idea, and we're calling it the lie of motivation. It's this belief that we're supposed to wait around for some magical burst of inspiration before we can get to work. But honestly, as we're about to see, that is a trap that keeps people spinning their wheels for years. This is the absolute heart of it all. Think about it. Every great business, every amazing piece of art, every single major accomplishment, it wasn't built by someone who felt perfect and motivated every single day. No way. They were built by people who made a decision and then honored that decision, especially on the days their feelings were screaming at them to just stay in bed. And you know, our own language tells the story. When we say things like, "Oh, I just wasn't in the mood," or "He totally ruined my day," we are literally giving our power away. We're telling the universe, "Hey, I'm not the one driving here." And when your feelings are in the driver's seat, the destination is almost always chaos and inconsistency.
Okay, so if we stop letting our feelings call all the shots, how do we handle what's going on inside? Well, that takes us to Section 2, protecting your inner peace. This is all about building a fortress around your emotional state and just stop giving your power away to everyone else.
This metaphor is just so perfect. When you say, "He ruined my day," you've literally handed him the remote control to your own happiness. Think about that. He didn't steal it, you gave it to him. He didn't take your joy, you handed it over. And the most important thing to realize is that you can decide to stop doing that, right now. And let's be really clear about this. Guarding your energy, protecting your peace, that is not a selfish act. It's an act of survival. You can't build a great career on top of a chaotic mind. You can't build a happy family on a foundation of anxiety. Your peace is the concrete slab everything else gets built on. If you let that foundation crack, the whole house comes down. Now this one is a game changer. So many of us, we live inside our pain. We unpack our bags, we set up furniture, and we pay it rent every single month with our focus and our energy. But here's the thing, pain is not supposed to be your permanent address. It's a temporary teacher. You're meant to learn the lesson and move on, not sign a lifelong lease. Which leads to what Steve Harvey calls the architect's process. You ask for change, right? You pray for a better life? Well, get ready for the demolition crew. You can't renovate a kitchen without tearing out the old cabinets. That painful part, the breakup, the job loss, that's not a punishment. That is the architect clearing the site so they can build something bigger and better than you ever imagined. Now, going through that demolition requires trust. But check this out. Fear and faith use the exact same mental muscle. They both require you to believe in a future you can't see. Worrying is just using your faith to believe in a negative outcome. So if you've got enough energy to worry, you have more than enough energy to believe. You just have to decide where you're going to point it. All right, so we've talked about the internal work, the mindset. But what about actually, doing the thing? This brings us to the real secret sauce, the discipline engine. This is what keeps you going when that little spark of motivation is completely burned out.
This comparison is just perfect. Motivation, that's the ignition in your car. It's that spark that gets you started, but it's unreliable. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Discipline, on the other hand, that's the engine. That's what keeps you moving through the rain, up the steep hills, and on those long, boring highways of life. The engine shows up to work whether it feels like it or not.
And here is the absolute hard truth of the matter. If you wait until you feel 100% ready to do something important, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. It's never going to happen. True growth, the stuff that really matters, only starts right at the edge of your comfort zone. That discomfort isn't a sign to stop. It's the sign that you're finally moving forward. Now here's the thing. You can't build this kind of life in a vacuum. The people you surround yourself with are absolutely critical. But are they the right people? This brings us to a huge distinction, the difference between having cheerleaders and having coaches in your life. Just look at this breakdown. A cheerleader's goal is to make you feel good. They'll tell you you're right even when you're messing up. But a coach, their goal is to make you get better. So they're going to tell you the truth even when it's uncomfortable. If everyone in your life just agrees with everything you do, you don't have friends, you have fans. And fans will clap for you while you stay exactly where you are. And that's why this is so important. Quality will always, always be quantity. As you start to grow and level up in your life, you might find that your circle gets smaller. That's not a loss, it's a clarification. A couple of people who challenge you and push you are worth more than 100 people who just keep you comfortable. So, let's bring all of this home. We've talked about your mindset, your discipline, your circle of friends. It all really boils down to a choice you have to make every single day between two completely different ways of living your life. Seriously, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this. Your emotions are like ocean waves. They can be incredibly powerful in the moment, but they always, always pass. A big decision is an anchor. It's heavy, and you never, ever drop a permanent anchor in the middle of a temporary storm. Just pause. Give it 24 hours. Let the water settle before you act. And this is the choice, isn't it? On one side, you've got the emotional person. They just react to things, they drift through life, they're in survival mode, and they spend all their time just talking about the problem over and over. But on the other side, that's the intentional person. They respond thoughtfully. They drive toward a goal. They design the life they want, and they engineer the solution. This isn't a personality test. It's a choice you make every single day.
So that's the question I want to leave you with. It's not about yesterday, and it's not about what you hope for tomorrow. It's about right now, today. Who's in the driver's seat? Is it a temporary feeling, or is it you, the intentional architect of your own life with your hands firmly on the wheel? The choice is yours.